Hey guys, I wanted to provide a video going through sort of a review of the new Supernova Infinite, and then kind of a breakdown of the formulas and how they change from the new formula to the old one and where that's going to be applicable for most people. So diving right into the ingredient label, I'm going to talk about the ingredient label on the new one, and when there's a difference I will point it out, old versus new versus old. I'm going to try to make this not super science based. I don't want to turn it into Bill Nye the Science Guy. So for a lot of my advanced supplementation knowledge followers, I'm not going to be diving just super head first into the research, so just a heads up to that. But obviously, as always, if anyone has any questions, they can reach out. Anyway, so first ingredient on the list, citrulline malate in a 2-to-1 ratio at a full 6 grams. 6 grams for citrulline malate in a 2-to-1 is the minimum efficacious dose that you're going to want to take in. So keep in mind with any supplements kind of fall under the rules of medicine. I always use the analogy, if someone had a headache and you said, oh, do you want an Advil? Most people would know, well, is it 200 milligrams or 400? Because I like 400 or 200, it doesn't matter. But there's a clinical dose that's going to work. If you just had 5 milligrams of ibuprofen, you're going to have technically ingested ibuprofen, but done nothing to remedy your headache. So supplements kind of fall in that range. So that's why transparency in labels is so important in the industry, and I like that Nutribolics does that. So again, citrulline malate in a full 6 grams. What does it do? It's a vasodilator. Essentially, it's going to create some vasodilation, extra blood flow. And why does that matter to maybe you? If you're training hard, causing muscle damage, muscle tension, all that stuff, metabolic stress, more blood flow is going to be better for recovery, in my opinion. That's where all the nutrients are. So anytime I can increase blood flow to an area that I've trained, or if if it's just systemic, you're doing full body training, I still see the benefit in adding that. The second ingredient is Pico 2, which is a muscle endurance ingredient. It's a blend of mushroom extracts, and that's where these two products differ. This product has beta alanine, and although they do similar things, the new ingredient at a full 2 grams of Pico 2 is going to provide that lactic acid muscle endurance benefits, but a much shorter time to load the system, because it's sort of like creatine. You have to intake it for a while before you reach saturation and to see perceived benefit. However, this new one with Pico 2 instead of beta alanine causes no paresthesia, no itching. You don't get itchy. So for those that liked the itchiness, which is very few people, I can say, the old formula is going to sort of provide that, and the new formula is not. So that's sort of a big difference. Third ingredient is betaine in a full 1,500 milligrams, and that's going to be the start of your clinical range. So 1,500 to 2,500 is where you're going to see most clinical stuff, studied stuff, dosages. It's a really good muscle power, sort of muscle endurance, maybe some potential blood flow also. Similar to like a beetroot powder almost. So it's not something that you're going to necessarily feel or really notice, to be honest. And that's the same with the next ingredient. Is a herb called Noble Orchard. It's a denobrium derived herb. The research is not super great. Although promising what is out there, it's essentially a feel-good herb, similar to an adaptogen like ashwagandha, just not quite fully. And I've just never been super convinced on although safe, some of the claims just are not super backed up, so I don't really give it a huge merit, although a very nice ingredient. Where this product is going to differ, the next 2 ingredients I'm going to list are not in this old formula. Lion's mane, which again is a mushroom-derived nootropic ingredient. This is where I start to really love this formula versus the old, because personally, I'm not a huge stimulant guy. I'm not one of these people that can intake 4, 5, 6, 7, 800 milligrams of caffeine in a day. I'll just feel like I'm gonna die. I don't like being tased, or that's what I call a high stimulant pre-workout. And people that like that like feeling like they got tased. I prefer to have a very clear mental focus, and yes, I want some increases in energy, but I suffer from anxiety and ADHD as it is, so I don't, anything over 300 milligrams, 250 for me starts to push that envelope. So, and I'll get into the stimulant content when I get to there on the list, but yeah, so lion's mane, cognition. It's not a stimulating energy, it just helps with mental focus, and the longer you use it, like adaptogens, most adaptogens, the benefits are gonna increase instead of the benefits decreasing like you would with a stimulant like teocrine, which not as much, or caffeine, any sort of coffee. The second one is called Dmae, and in a 350 milligram dose, which is also clinical. Again, a really, really nice mental focus ingredient that just pairs in really well with the lion's mane, and you don't build up a tolerance to that either. So those two ingredients are not in the old Supernova formula. The next ingredient is a cocoa extract in a 4-to-1, so kind of like theobromine in a full 300 milligrams. This is going to be a mild stimulant. So cocoa, as if you don't know, has some caffeine, has a nice dose of L-theanine also within it. So all they did is extract some of the cocoa theobromine, which is the stimulant part of it, and give it sort of a concentrated version. So that's gonna, 300 milligrams is only gonna equate to like maybe 20 milligrams of total caffeine. So it's not crazy, but it's still a really nice slower released caffeine in addition to the anhydrous caffeine, which is up next. So caffeine, I'm sure everyone knows what that is. It is dosed at 200 milligrams plus the theobromine, so you're going to be about 220 milligrams of total stimulants with different sort of release rates. So the caffeine anhydrous is going to give you a higher peak and a faster fall, but where it's really nice, and I've been doing this for a long time and preaching this, mixing your caffeine sources, because there's a lot of different ones, like the caffeine that's in this from a cocoa extract is going to, so you'll get quite a large dopamine spike from the 200 milligrams of the anhydrous, and as you start to fall, instead of having this sharp V, as you start to fall down off of that, even though 200 milligrams is not really enough to produce a drastic crash for most people, as you start to fall, that theobromine is going to be kind of carrying you a little flatter line until it leaves your system. So for someone that has, again, anxiety, deficit disorders and stuff like that, which is a lot of people I've learned over the years, that blend of caffeine sources really pairs in nice. The next one is an ingredient called L-theanine. L-theanine helps combat the negative side effects to caffeine, jitters, feelings of anxiousness and stuff. L-theanine helps to combat that, which is also why I love this product. And the last one is huperzine A, which is a sort of like a plant-based mental focus ingredient. Again, non-stimulating, non-tolerating, so it doesn't build up a tolerance, which honestly, I love that. I love this is going to be my new go-to, and Supernova was always one of sort of my 3 rotating pre-workouts because of that. So it's a really nice, almost anyone, here's why I think this is good for most people. It's got all the right amounts of the right ingredients for a pre-workout, and it's not overstimulating. As someone who's been a trainer for a long time, most people don't need energy. They maybe more so need mental focus, because if you're new to working out, if you're trying to advance your working out, what it gets hard to do is concentrate from beginning to end, not necessarily be energized to do the movements. So personally, that's why I really like this product. And the scoop size, extra points for the scoop size being on point. I weigh my pre-workouts because I'm that guy, I know. But 14.5 grams is exactly what it's supposed to be, and that is what a scoop size is. So I wanted to keep this under 10 minutes just to keep everyone on point, so I hope that has helped you guys. If you have any questions, let me know.